Hi guys, welcome back to Everyday English with Drea. This is where we learn simple everyday English. In today's lesson, we'll be exploring the use of the colon and semicolon. It is important to know when to use the colon and the semicolon, especially in our writing. These two punctuation marks add meaning to our writing. So, let's get into this video. First, let's look at three uses for the colon. And the first one is to introduce a list. It helps to signal that a list of items or ideas is about to follow. For example, on my vacation, I visited four amazing cities: Tokyo, Rome, Paris, and Kingston. As you can see, the colon sets up the expectation that a list will be provided. Number two, a colon introduces an explanation. In other words, it helps to clarify or elaborate on a preceding statement. For example, the reason for my sudden change in plans was simple. I had an emergency. And the final use we'll look at for today is that a colon introduces a quotation or a dialogue. This indicates that someone is speaking. For example, the teacher said it best. Education is the key to success. Following the colon are the exact words spoken by the teacher. Next, let's explore the use of the semicolon. 1. We use the semicolon to join two independent clauses. Independent clauses can stand alone as separate sentences, but when you want to connect them closely, the semicolon is your friend. For example, I enjoy listening to music. It helps me relax. Now we see two independent clauses being connected with the semicolon. We also use a semicolon to separate items in a list when they have commas. For example, I have invited my friends John, a photographer, Lisa, a writer, and Sarah, a musician. Using the semicolon in this sentence helps to avoid confusion, and it clearly separates the items in the list. Now, let's look at the highlights of the semicolon. The first one is to ensure that each side of the semicolon contains an independent clause that can stand as a complete sentence. Next is to use the semicolon sparingly. Remember, its purpose is to create a specific effect or clarify relationships between clauses. And finally, consider the overall rhythm and flow of your writing when deciding to use a semicolon. Now that you have an understanding of when to use the colon and the semicolon, I'd like for you to try these two examples. Remember, the only way to master your English skills is to practice. Until next time, practice using the colon and the semicolon in your writing. Thanks for watching Everyday English with Drea. See you in our next class.